Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elion, and we are here with Ian from Amongst Liars. Welcome, Ian.
Hey, good to be here. And yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Ian. I'm the singer from Amongst Liars. So it's good to be here.
Cool. Thank you for coming. So
Pleasure.
let's dive into some questions. So, as a kid, what were you listening to?
Um, I listened to lots of stuff really. I was kind of into my dad was like big into Beatles and Stones and that kind of stuff, and Bowie and Stevie Wonder and all that kind of the stuff from the sort of the 60s, 60s, 70s. So I kind of grew up listening to that kind of stuff on his record players. I started, I suppose, with me, it was kind of the grunge era when I started being a kid. When I was, well, I didn't start being a kid, I was a kid. But that's when I kind of music started to get like thinking, oh wow, this is something that kind of gripped me from a really early age. Really, it was watching stuff on MTV with Nirvana and then later on Soundgarden and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of everything really. But I was kind of brought up on I think a good dose of music from my mum and dad, who listened to, like I said, it was the Beatles and Stones and Bowie and T-Rex and all the kind of bit of Sabbath and stuff like that. So it was a good kind of good ground, I suppose, for all the other stuff to come.
Cool. Who got you into music? Was it your parents, or was it a sibling, or was it a friend, or was it somebody completely different?
It was a pretty random one actually. It was my mum is a teacher, and the school I went to didn't really do much music at all, and I'd never really done music at all. And it's a bit later, I suppose. I was probably about maybe 14, and I went along to one of my mum's. She dragged me along because she obviously couldn't find a babysitter, and not that I needed a babysitter when I was 14, but I suppose I went along and there was this concert that was there, and all the kids all were playing like drums and guitars, and they were doing rock and roll and stuff. And I was thinking, what's this? And I'd never seen I knew about, obviously, listened to that kind of music before. I'd never seen any young kids playing that sort of stuff, and that really inspired me. And I met the music teacher of that school, a guy called Dave Parsons, and he was awesome. And he was just like, he was really chilled out. It was the kind of epitome of a music teacher. It was just like, kind of, yeah man, this is cool, let's just do this, whatever. And so I started doing music lessons with him, because I thought I just want to be like that, and I want to do that and just try that. And so I started out sort of playing the saxophone actually, and because he was a real jazz sort of musician, and then I picked up the guitar and started teaching myself that, and I started writing songs, and it went from that. So I have to say, I suppose, yeah, it was Big Dave that got me into doing music.
Cool. Was it like actually inspired you to become a musician? Was it your music teacher, or was it your mum, or was it
Yeah, I
somebody
think it was.
different?
I think it was again. It was this guy Dave that said that inspired me to. I suppose I inspired myself because I thought, right, I want to do this, and I was really kind of. I was on the case, and I like I said, I taught myself. I'd listened to music, and I thought, okay, I started playing saxophone. I wanted to play Baker Street or He Latest Trick or these big sax things, and then I sort of got into guitar more, and I sort of got an Eagles songbook, and I got a Bowie songbook and Beatles songbook, and I just picked up chords and I started taught myself, I suppose. But if it wasn't for this music teacher Dave, I don't think I hadn't been there at that concert. I don't think I would have been sort of in the same place. Probably been an accountant or something like that, I'm guessing. So I'll have a lot more money, but
yeah. I've got a question from a good friend of mine and moderator for the channel, from Bastian. He asks, is it fair to say your music is alternative rock?
yeah, I reckon. Hi Sebastian, thanks for the question as well. I mean, I guess, yeah, we're kind of alternative rock. We just do that's the easiest way to sort of pigeonhole us. We're not we're kind of modern alternative rock, so we don't try to do. We're not classic rock. We're not really heavy rock. I suppose alternative is the best way for it, really. So it's like we're trying to kind of do something a bit different, but at the same point make it sort of, yeah, it's definitely rock. And it's definitely has alternative sort of streaks to it. So I think that's probably that's yeah, definitely the best way to sort of tag it.
Yeah, and he also asks who is writing the music for the band.
So we all do that actually. So basically, we'll start off with a different. We all kind of sort of chip in together with everything. With the album we've just written, it was a question of everyone sort of. Leo would throw some riffs my way, or I'd throw a couple of ideas, and then we'd all work on it together, and we'd all jam it out, and then we'd sit down and work through all the songs. And then basically pick them apart and say, okay, that works, or doesn't work. So it's all four of us. So it's not one person that will sit there and write the
Mm.
songs and say, right, let's play this. I know a lot of bands can be like that, but this one is literally all four of us. We all have equal input to it, and equal credits with all of it, and it's just and sort of equal input, I suppose. And then we once we've got the songs we think in a good shape, we take that up to our producer Dave, who up in Manchester, and we sort of work through the songs with him as well. So he has kind of input into structuring and stuff like that. So it's basically it's kind of 4 or 5 person process, I suppose.
Cool. So it's like sort of like talk a little bit about the band, but what bands were you in before uh, amongst Liars, if any?
Yeah, I was in quite a few bands. I mean, I started off when I was really young. I got sort of my sort of early, late teens, early 20s. I was in a band called Somnium that then became a band called Cairo. And we got really lucky. We got signed to a sort of big American label, and that was the first sort of intro into music. We got all this stuff thrown at us, and it was great, and it was all going really well. And then as things do, it lasted probably. I mean, it was from about 2004 through to 2008, 2007, 2008. It was all really good. And then the label dropped us, and it went obviously a bit pear shaped. So you stop and you think, okay, what am I doing? And then I got sort of a friend of mine actually just said, basically, your songs are really good. You should get back into doing some stuff. And I said, well, if you form a band around me, I'll do it, because I just lost kind of all energy around that point. And then I met these, so he started doing that, and then I met these Hungarian guys, and I did a bit of a collaboration with them, and we ended up having some sort of chart success over in Hungary and stuff like that, and in the sort of for a couple of songs. And then this band started, that this guy sort of formed around the songs that I was doing, and we started writing stuff, and that became a band called Catalina Kicks, and that started around 2009, 2010. And then that sort of was going basically doing really well. Actually, we got to the point we were playing some big festivals, doing some really good support slots. We put some music out, and we had some good deals and stuff. And then that went pear shaped because the members went a bit crazy. And then that came to an end in sort of mid 2019. And then I met the guys in who are the other three from Amongst Liars, because they were in a band called Saint Apache, and I'd actually toured with them and played a few shows with them in when I was in Catalina Kicks, and sort of stayed in touch because they were quite local to me. And it sort of just went from there. And I saw they'd lost their singer, and I'd obviously lost my band because it sort of fell apart, and we just got together, and that formed Amongst Liars basically. So it's yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Sebastian asked another question, like sort of like a comment, really. He says, I think Rain is one of the best songs I heard in a long while.
Thank you so much. That's great. Rain's my favourite as well. I love Rain. It just came together really. I don't know. It's just one of those songs that it just happened, and when we were writing it, and we wrote it a bit with another guy called Alfie, who got put in touch with us by our manager, and we had this song that wasn't quite right. And then we sort of did a couple of Zoom writing sessions because obviously we're still locked down when we were writing it, and it just clicked, and he came up with this idea of the and I used that for the hook, and we kind of, it just fell into place really. Then we took it up to the producer in Manchester, and he added that middle eight that takes it up another notch as well. So it's a great song to kind of be a part of right from the beginning, I suppose, to watch this song to kind of go from this kind of idea that we sort of had, and we've still got the kind of the original demos of it sounding absolutely nothing like it, to actually get to the point that it is now. We obviously, yeah, it's like I said, probably my favorite song from the album as well.
Cool. You've mentioned that you've been over the last couple of years. You've been sort of like been writing and recording, and so what has the band really been up to within that? Well, especially since you joined the band.
I mean, loads. I mean, basically, we've just been going for it since the band started, I suppose, realistically, kind of really late 2019, early 2020, and then we played one show, and we'd luckily done some recordings before that show, because after that show it was lockdown and everything came to a stop and we couldn't play anymore. But luckily we'd recorded maybe sort of 7 or 8 songs before that, and we put them out as singles, and so we kept on sort of plugging them. And then when things opened up again, we played a few shows, played festivals, and we sort of did some bits, as much as we possibly could really, wrote some more and sort of finished off the album. And then this year, obviously when things have been open up, we did a sort of headline tour towards the end of last year as well. So we went, maybe I think it's about 7 or 8 dates around the UK, which was brilliant to actually get out there and sort of play. Although we hit kind of storm Arlene, and then we had snow, and it was just mental, but it was good fun at the same point. So it's sort of in all conditions and traveling around. And then so this year obviously we played a few shows and a few festivals, and then the album came out exactly a month ago, and then so it's been great. We've been doing loads, and I think we're about to start recording a new acoustic EP. So we're doing a couple of stripped back sort of numbers. That's going to be next week. We start that, and that's going to come out in October, November time, and then we're going to go back in full thrust to do the next album record that in November. So with a small kind of tour sort of somewhere in between. So it's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, cool. Excuse me. Yeah, so you just said there you just released the album. It's self-titled, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
The album. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we called it that. We thought of lots of different names, like with band names, with anything.
Could you tell us a little
the album is
bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of obviously, in terms of the actual album itself, I mean it came out, and we've got 11 tracks that we've recorded, and we thought it was sort of kind of all going to be in a sort of similar sort of place. And we put the first single out in March, which was called "Cut It," and the second single, "All Over Now," which was in June time, or late May, early June, and then "Rain" came out as the third single. We're probably going to put another single off it in September as well. But yeah, no, it's gone down really well. We've had really good support from people who've both bought it and streamed it, and also from the kind of press as well. It's been really well received. So it's like kind of it's always difficult when you put something out there that you put so much in, because we self-funded it. We do everything DIY ourselves, and we got vinyl for this one, so we wanted to obviously make it as special as it possibly could be for a first release. And it's just gone. Yeah, it's been amazing. We couldn't have asked for any more really, and it's been received brilliantly, and we're really happy. So we just need to build on that now for the second one, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was at the Sunderland gig when you played with Thieves of Liberty, and I actually saw the actual vinyl, and it looked absolutely amazing, but unfortunately, I didn't have enough cash on us to actually buy it. So I was getting the CD and the vinyl as well. So yeah, so where can people find to actually buy the CD and vinyl of the album?
So everything's on our website. So we do everything ourselves. So basically, it's www.amongstliars.com, and or they can send us an email through that or whatever, and we just do literally everything ourselves. Or they can come to a gig. We've got our actual physical album launch party in on the 9th of September, because I was actually sick with COVID when we were supposed to do the launch party, so we postponed that. But we'll be playing a few shows in October as well, and then probably a couple in November as well. So we obviously will take all the vinyls and the CDs to gigs, but generally, yeah, we can just reach out on our website, and there'll be lots of someone will get back to you, and we can send stuff in the post easily. So it's been a lot of postage. My local post office knows me by name now. It's bonkers. So I went in there the first day with like 100 packages, and I was like, Jesus, this is going to take ages. And I keep throwing them through these machines and throwing money and stuff like that. I've kept the post office shares going. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. So Sebastian asked another question, which basically ties in with my next question. He asks, any chance of touring outside of the UK?
We'd love to. I mean,
Because
for us.
I know,
Mm.
yeah, sorry.
No, I say we're all about playing live. I mean, we'd love to. I mean, it's just a question of we're using this album, I suppose, as a bit of a springboard to sort of see what can happen and where it takes us, I suppose. But we'd love to play in Europe. We'd love to play. Previous bands I played in the States, I played in the Far East, and yeah, I mean that's the dream, and that's the goal, to sort of play outside the UK and do as much as we can. And it would be great to. We've got some really good reviews from Metal Hammer in Germany recently, and so there's an idea. Yeah, there's obviously Germany's a great place to play. France, Netherlands. We got people that we know in sort of in Finland, Sweden, Norway as well. It'd be amazing to do sort of that European side of things. And then obviously if you get, it's all about cost, I suppose. That's especially with obviously a glorious travel restrictions that have just been put in place the last couple of years. So it's harder generally to take stuff over. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the plan, is to definitely get out there and do as much as we can.
Yeah, cool, cool. So, um, you mentioned that you'd be going to be doing a stripped back acoustic E. Could you tell us a little bit about that, or if you can?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've basically wrote. I mean, over the last maybe, because we're kind of, I mean, the stuff that we do is generally kind of on the heavier side, and over it's very hard to write really heavy music when you're kind of just on a, well, we found it anyway. When you're doing kind of, when you're in lockdown and you're doing zooms over sort of with acoustic guitars, and so we wrote probably about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 songs that we thought, okay, these might never we think they're good songs, but they might never actually go on one of our albums because they're not really kind of heavy enough. So we thought, okay, why not? Let's do this. Let's do this kind of strip back thing, while we're waiting to obviously to get in to record the next album, because obviously we're not going to release two albums in one year. So we thought, okay, let's go in and let's do this acoustic EP, and yeah, we're really excited about it. Actually, it's going to be there's one song that's quite classical in itself, with guitars, and we put some sort of I put some sort of vocals across over that, and then another one that's, yeah, they're all quite different songs, but hopefully they'll merge together. But I think we're aiming for 4, maybe
Mm.
5 songs on that, and just going to record them next week, and start the recording process anyway and see what happens, and then we're going to do an acoustic gig up in London to sort of promote that in early November, and then just see how it goes, really. And that's kind of, it's good stopgap. It's something a bit different. People might go, what's this? Because it's obviously not going to be in your face heavy. It's going to be quite laid back and quite chilled, and but yeah, it's again, it's going to be quite alternative sort of sounding. So we're just gonna go with the flow, and the idea, I suppose, with all of us is we just want to do as much as we can. And someone said, do you want to do record these acoustic songs, and we went, yeah, let's do it. So it's just, we're always going to say, yeah, go forward and show a different side to us, I suppose. And if it's something that, and ironic, is people will probably say play those at gigs, and we don't want to play that gig. We want to rock out. We want to get really heavy. But it might be one of those things that people start asking for the more chilled out stuff, just to kind of have a break from their ears, I suppose, more than anything else. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I hope I pronounce this next commenter his name right. Jean Pierre. It says 5, not 4. I'm assuming for the amount of tracks on on the EP, and he also they also say where in London. So I'm assuming about the gig.
Yeah, the gig is it's being confirmed at the moment, and we've got a date. It's going to be the 2nd of November. We're just waiting on confirmation of the venue. It's going to be a small venue, and we're probably going to film it as well. But our manager's sorting all that out at the moment, so hopefully we should have the details of that within the next week, definitely. And we'll aim for 5. We'll see what happens. You never know with the recording. Fingers crossed, we'll get 5. But if not, we don't want to put 5. We'd rather put 4 really, really, really good songs out than 4 really, really good ones and one that's not quite right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. If you said that you're going to be like, hopefully you're going to be there filming the gig. Would you be putting that up on YouTube, or are you going to do the like full? You call it the full show and release it on the DVD, or release it on YouTube?
Yeah, I reckon we'll put it up on YouTube, and we might. It depends whether we can get it live streamed. But I reckon we're definitely going to be putting it up. And obviously, unless it's really bad, we play really badly. But yeah, I guessing that it will be up, and it will be up, and we'll release probably, like, it depends on how many songs we play at it. Maybe probably going to do probably between 6 and 8 songs for an acoustic set. And so yeah, we'll just having it all recorded. And then we'll just fire them out one by one, and as they come out, really. And we'll probably the aim is, I suppose, to do a live stream, but if you never know what technology kind of gives these days, do you? So it's all going to
Yeah,
be there for everyone to see.
yeah. I know about technology, and sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It all depends on the technology. Um, oh, hey Temp. Uh, yeah. Sean Pierce says when you played, like, pretty much it says 9, but I'm assuming that the but when you played the gig, he said get between 6 and 8 songs. He says 9.
okay,
He says play 9 songs at the gig.
okay. Jean Pierre's very
Yeah.
demanding.
So
Thank you, Jean Pierre.
yeah. So this is probably going to be my last question. Um, any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, I'm joking. Um, um, that's what I've always done. I've pissed off my parents, probably. But it's who I am. If you love doing it, do it. I mean, and just be careful, because there's a lot of the music industry is a pretty dark place, full of lots of dodgy people that want to promise you the world. And from experience of being promised a lot of things and being let down a lot of times, just be careful, I suppose. Go with your passion, do what you enjoy doing. But at the same point, I wouldn't say don't trust anyone, but be wary where you tread, as in terms of business side. I think if you want to try and make a living out of it, because there are, yeah, it's what was that, the Hunter S. Thompson saying, quote, said that it's a shallow place where good men die like dogs, where the nasty people just, I can't quote the whole thing, I wish I could. But it's just one of those things. It's like music's, the actual playing music, enjoy that side, enjoy the creativity side of things, do what you love, play as much as you can, learn your craft, do your craft, and then hopefully you get the right people pick up on you. And it depends what you want from it, I suppose. But if it's just playing to your mates down the pub, that's great. If it's playing to thousands of people in a stadium, that's great as well. I suppose it's just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think yes, good advice. Good advice. Anyway, thank you so much, Ian, for coming on and doing this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure. Been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. I really enjoyed it.
Just before we go, where can people find you on social media?
So we're all over social media. So we'll always chat to anyone that wants to chat. So it's obviously amongstliars.com is our sort of website. And Instagram, we're Amongst Liars. Twitter, we're Amongst Liars. Facebook, we're Amongst Liars Band. And I think TikTok, we're Amongst Liars Band as well on that as well. But if you just type in Amongst Liars to any of the socials, we'll be around. YouTube as well, we're Amongst Liars. So it's kind of all over the socials basically. So come and drop us a line, say hi, hurl us some abuse, or give us some chat. We'll get back to you.
Yeah. Anyway, Ian, thank you so much for coming on, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having us. Cheers.